Though others seldom saw Ramaswamy Pillai, Bhagavan and he were working together telepathically almost all the time. Bhagavan was continuously blessing him with his presence, and Ramaswamy Pillai was always chanting Bhagavan's name while doing his work. One day, however, he had misgivings about his progress. He wondered if it was a mistake not to actively participate in any of the other activities of the ashram, such as chanting, puja, and festivities. So he asked, Bhagavan, am I doing the right thing? And Bhagavan replied, do self-inquiry. It embraces all other activities. Even while he was working in the garden or going down to town by cycle, he was consciously doing self-inquiry. And whenever I met him in the ashram after 1960, he would advise me very fervently, do not get involved in any of these pujas and other activities. They will not take you anywhere. Do only self-inquiry. Once, on losing his keys, he went to Bhagavan saying, my keys are lost, Bhagavan. Bhagavan smiled and said, the keys are not lost. They are where they are. You have forgotten where you left them. Then, as he often did, Bhagavan supplemented what he said with his teaching, saying, it is just like the self. It is always where it is. We forget it and take so many paths searching for it, saying, I am not able to find the self. I don't know what the self is or where it lies. We are searching for it, even though it is always here. The self is not lost. It is only forgotten. With the help of such anecdotes, Ramaswamy Pillai used to give me Bhagavan's teachings. Those who have been to Ramanasramam and Skanda Ashram must have seen the well-leveled rock path that connected the two. It was laid single-handedly by Ramaswamy Pillai. In an English version of Bhagavan's biography, there is a mention of this path, where it states, a path paved with smooth rocks was laid from Ramana Ashramam to Skanda Ashram, single-handedly by a devotee. Later, that book was mistranslated in French, where it stated, it was laid by a man who had only one hand. Ramaswamy Pillai would say, see, I have two hands, but this French book says I have only one hand, and yet I laid the path with it. Wherever Bhagavan walked, Ramaswamy Pillai would silently spread sand evenly like velvet. Every day, even under the hot noon sun, he would go and even out the paths that Bhagavan regularly walked on. He was so unassuming that many people neither recognized him nor knew anything about him. One day, while Bhagavan was going up the hill from Ramana Ashramam, he scratched his foot on a rock. Bhagavan was unmindful of it, but one of his attendants noticed it and told Ramaswamy Pillai. From the next day on, Ramaswamy Pillai started taking still greater care to even out a soft path for Bhagavan. Rarely did he go into the hall where Bhagavan sat. He would normally prostrate before Bhagavan early in the morning and leave for his long, grueling day of work. He had a unique sense of humor. One day he did come into the hall, and he found two groups of traditional Hindus having an animated discussion. One group affirmed that according to the scriptures, Shiva, the male god, reigns supreme. The other group asserted that Shiva's wife, Shakti, is supreme. Of course, Shakti means power. As a matter of fact, one group asserted that Shiva's wife, Shakti, is supreme. And there is even a section of the scriptures that says Shiva gets his power from Shakti. The two groups kept arguing in Bhagavan's presence while Bhagavan looked uninvolved. Bhagavan's interest was aroused when he saw Ramaswamy Pillai because he was a humorous and frank devotee. When Ramaswamy Pillai learned what the argument was about, he said, "Oh, this is very simple. The female group is strongest because," he said, quoting in English, "he is contained in she, so she is the most powerful. What is the problem?" The entire Shakti group clapped and exclaimed, "Ah, we have won." But then Ramaswamy Pillai continued, Wait. He can remain independently as he, but she cannot remain independently as she. He has to be there. Otherwise, she cannot exist." Then the Shiva propagators applauded and exclaimed, "Oh, we have won." Bhagavan himself laughed uproariously, admiring Ramaswamy Pillai's sense of humor. Whenever he did come into the hall, Bhagavan would take great interest. Bhagavan liked unpretentiousness, and this was Ramaswamy Pillai's greatest quality. With all his humor, he used to din into my ears the words, "You must do self-inquiry." In the presence of Bhagavan, we could feel that the mind was only a shadow of the self. The ego, the mind, is only a shadow of the self, an unwanted accretion, a state of ignorance. Then he would say humorously, "Nothing will be lost by its destruction. This falseness has to be, and can certainly be, dissolved by steady inquiry into oneself. Such inquiry is itself the grace of the Satguru. All other efforts are definitely a waste of time."